Hi Sandra, as promised, here is the video for you. And like always, before we start, I want to clear the energy of the cards. I already premeditated on the cards for you, honey. Just last little thing to do. And we're going to finish with the healing sound of the singing bowl. So my cards are activated and we're ready to begin. We're going to do 7 card spread for you today, Sandra, and we're going to try and answer all the questions that you had for me. Let's see which deck wants to talk to us today. I believe this one. And after the spread is done, we're going to use the Oracle, Love Oracle cards as well for the final advice. So without further ado, let's see what we can find out and what the cards has to tell for us. So my cards are pre-shuffled, so just last little bit. Please adjust your sound. Pre-shuffling and shuffling can be a little bit loud sometimes, especially on the headset. Okay. So we have 3 questions about children, marriage, and your travel business. I do not read the cards in reverse, just so you know. And I do not sugarcoat, honey, so I will tell you exactly how I see it, okay? I read cards intuitively, so whatever my intuition is telling me, you will hear exactly that, okay, hon? Let's see. Okay, so here we go, Sandra. We have 7 cards on the table, and here's what is there for you. So the first card that we got is 6 of Pentacles, and it is in the position of the past, of the recent past. 6 of Pentacles talks to me that there's been inconsistent energy. There's been energy divided, and there was there was lack in some areas of your life. I forgot to mention that energy is fluid. Energy is fluid, so please apply it as it fits in your story. Don't focus on the genders in the cards, as we all have feminine and masculine energy within us. So don't focus on the genders in the cards. And since energy is fluid, you have to apply as it fits in your specific situation. So Pentacles generally speaks about everything that is earthy, that we can touch, that is all the material goods in parts of our lives. And I see that there's been divided energy, and it was someone or something in your life was complex, and it was lack in some area, and it was focused on a different area. So some areas were struggling while the energy was divided on something else. It brought some kind of I feel like it like drained, like it was like hard work, and it was a attempt to give a lot, to give to multiple people or multiple uh, multiple areas of your life, but while you're giving to one, the other one is suffering, if that makes any sense. So that's in the recent past. In the present position, I see again more pentacles, so it's material earthy things in our life. And Three of Pentacles for me as the reader often talks about hard work, a lot of focus work, and basically just put your head into work and focus on that. Sometimes it's a coping mechanism, trying to avoid some areas that is painful that we need to work on, and just digging into work as a coping mechanism. It also talks about collaboration. Perhaps there's some collaborations that someone has been working on. Just seeing a lot of work, a lot of focus in that area. So that is in the present that I see. And what's happening right now is the card of the moon in this position. And card of the moon talks, it actually represents Cancer sign. Perhaps you're dealing with a Cancer, or someone you're dealing with has Cancer in their chart. It's the card of the unknown. There's this sense that there's something to happen, or there's something for us to know, but we don't have the full picture yet. We don't see the full picture yet. There's something hidden, something unclear for us. We're trying to see the path. We're trying to see what are our next moves, what would be the next best move forward, but we don't have all the details yet. We don't know quite yet. It's something hidden from us. In the position of the obstacles, we have Four of Swords. Swords is logic. Swords is enterprise. Swords is a lot of thinking. So perhaps, and I see three of them are being put down. And someone seems to be a little bit tired or over something, or just bored. It's just dissatisfaction. Someone is not content with something. It tells me like someone needs a little break from life's pressures. It can also talk about someone recovering from illness, or it could be also recovering financially if someone has been hit hard. Wouldn't be surprising with all that's going on in the world right now. So there's someone content, and it's in the position of obstacles. So perhaps that recovering part from whatever happened is the obstacle that we still keep on trying to overcome. Not the most pleasant cards, but three of those swords are already put down, so that means that we're moving forward with it. We're moving forward with it. And in the position of our environment, we have Four of Wands. Four of Wands is a very positive card. It talks about people coming into the celebration. And it's a long way to get there. And it's a card that represents marriage. So to answer your question, is it possible for your marriage to get back on the good track? This is a very positive card. It's very optimistic. It says that once all those difficulties are over, once we dealt with it, and we are willing to look past it with patience, there's a bright tomorrow waiting. This card usually talks about the joining of families or people in marriage, celebrating the reunion, and it talks about the partnership that benefits everyone involved. Peace, harmony, restored. It's very positive. In the position of the advice of the universe, we have a Chariot card. And Chariot talks about movement forward, about the balance between the good and the bad, finding the middle of it, understanding that we all have both sides within us, understanding that we are in the control of managing both sides of us, not being afraid of our emotions and who we are, accepting ourselves and the other person how they are, and moving forward, understanding that we cannot change one another. We have to find the balance in between by working together as a team. Working together as a team, complementing each other, because one person's strengths perhaps are other person's weakness, and vice versa. It's like a yin and yang, balancing negative and positive forces to achieve the success, maintaining focus to the details, and going on a long journey together. And that's your advice. One moment. My apologies, got something stuck in my throat. It's like out of a sudden, there's something that is hard to be said. Perhaps one of you guys are really struggling with expressing one's feelings and emotions. It's like my throat chakra are completely messed up right now, and it's really hard to talk for some reason, which came completely out of nowhere. It's like someone has something to say on the tip of their tongue, but they cannot just get over themselves and express that, if that makes any sense. The last card, honey, that I have is the Empress. That is the most possible outcome, and I couldn't have the most beautiful card to finalize the spread and the message for you, because the Empress is one of the major arcanas in the deck. Empress is one of the strongest cards that we have. And the Empress, she's a very experienced woman. She has a lot of wisdom. She's been through a lot to get her Empress title. She sits on her throne, being all pretty and knowing her worth. She is the mother of all. She is the mother of all. Those stars on her head represents all the signs in the zodiac. She's the mother of all. she talks about luxury and abundance, and you can probably tell she's pregnant in the picture. So when we have this card, if you're thinking about pregnancy, that is the most positive outcome that you could possibly ask, because this card indicates possible pregnancy. And this card is number 3, so it could represent 3 weeks, 3 years, or something with the number 3, perhaps March or the 3rd day of the, or Wednesday, so one of those. Okay, this is amazing, amazing cards. She's very powerful and very, very smart. All right, and the last question that we have is about your travel business. Should you keep on working, or is it time to choose a different direction? So let's just refresh the energy of the cards and do another spread for the finances and business. Let's see what the cards has to say about your business situation. Alright. I hear the sound of the airplane. What's going on? What did this one for? I didn't even see. Okay. Just one spirit, just one. Just one, please. Wanted to come out before, and here it is again. This one needs to come out. And this one. Okay. Here we go, we have 7 cards again. And the question is about your business situation. The first card that fell out is the card of the Fool. And the Fool is the very first card in the deck. It's in the position of the past. And it talks about the leap of faith, about the new beginnings that were taken, imagination, adventures, with a lot of unknowns in the path. It represents the unpredictability and the Fool started a new journey without having much, but with a lot of enthusiasm and with some support from close people. And it was a new opportunity taken, like a start over type of thing. Perhaps this business was in a different industry, location, or something like that, but it talks about a big leap of faith that was taken. Now, in the present, we have a Page of Pentacles. Again, Pentacles talks about the earthy things, about the material goods. And Page is the energy of the beginnings, of the startups. It is the very cornerstone that has been worked on with enthusiasm, excitement, happiness, and a lot of optimism. It's like a child who gets very excited about doing something that is very interesting and close to their heart. So it talks about that excitement type of energy. It also talks about an expectation, ambition, but it's not really mature energy yet. It's an opportunity. It's diligence. It's good news. It's someone who works hard, who's responsible. It's like that student that engaged in a new studies to pursue a new field and career. And I feel like there's a lot of positivity and abundance possible to come out of it if the student will follow through, if the student will not lose his excitement and will not drop out of the classes when the first challenge occurs. It might bring the feeling that the job chosen is not worth of the effort because it's a little bit immature. The page lacks some experience, lacks some knowledge. There's a little bit of a lag. It has the basics, it has the foundation, but it still lacks a little bit of maturity to manifest that outcome that was in the mind of it. Sometimes it can talk about the unrealistic goals or very ambitious goals that is hard to achieve in a short period of time. What's happening right now? We have Magician in this position, which talks about the power of intention, talks about manifestation and readiness, talks about the power to create the change. It's the very first number in the deck, in the arcana. It represents beginnings, but it also starts from the point of zero, because this card comes right after the Fool card. It has set things into motion. It talks about that what we put in our mind, we can make that possible. We can manifest our goals. Talks about intellect. It also talks about what we think becomes our reality. So it warrants to be careful with our thoughts, because what we repeatedly think manifests itself. So it tells you that you can achieve what you have in your mind, but you have to believe that you can, and you have to think as if you are already there where you want to be. It talks about keep your focus on the outcome that you want rather than focusing on what went wrong or what is lacking, if that makes sense. In the obstacles, we have the card of the moon. And again, card of the moon is that unknown path, is that information that we are missing, is like we are in the dark. We don't know what is waiting after the next turn. It talks about having faith. I'm sorry for my little guy interrupting for a second. My apologies. Sorry about that. So, to continue about the moon card, it's a very mysterious card. It talks about the sixth sense of knowing there's about something about to happen, the expectation. But it also can talk not only about our intuition, but also about the illusion and the expectation of having that path to clear, and the expectation of finally getting those news and getting that clarity of which way to take. Talks about us having to navigate through situations with a lot of unknown and unseen elements. It can talk about secrets, hidden motives in our environment. And it talks about being patient while seeking that clarity to come in. It might not be the best time to act in the extreme ways, but it is time to research your options, listen to your intuition, and patiently wait for further information. This card also talks about journeys, and journey could be literally trip or a journey. And it could be emotional journey, like a journey of changing our beliefs or our mentality or our ways of thinking. That is in our obstacles. To be brave enough to listen to our intuition, patiently research. Don't act on the impulse. Page of Cups. Cups and water in the tarot talks about emotions. And this card is in the 5th position in the spread, and it is our environment. And it talks about some rocky waters that you were faced with in your business, which makes complete sense with what's going on in the world right now. It talks about the time has been challenging. It's been rocky waters. It haven't been easy times for sure, but the page brings news. That's a card of the news that are coming in. There's a glimpse of the sunshine. There's a little fishy in that cup, which represents a positive news. It's not going to be massive, but it's a very hopeful card, which kind of talks about things being put into action. There's a sunshine coming. There's a glimpse of hope. Finally something good. It's some kind of guidance, creativity, some kind of connections, something trustworthy. It's a feeling of being appreciated too for having to deal with what was and the very last two cards that we have, the position of advice, we have Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords, she's a very, very powerful lady. She can come across like a little bit intimidating sometimes. As I mentioned, swords represents logic, knowledge, diplomacy. It's rational energy, detached from emotion. And since this is in the position of advice, it talks and advises you to lead with that, with rationality, with logic when you're making decisions about your business, to keep your emotions aside. Queen of Swords, she's talking about cutting away what no longer serves you, whether it's relationships, plans, partnerships, whatever is there in your way that doesn't make sense to keep anymore. It talks about the victory over obstacles if you will follow the lead of the advice. It talks about advises you to take objective, methodical approach to your projects, to stay on track. It talks about the strength, patience, intelligence. And it talks about being able to achieve. It talks about results. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to come without effort, but it talks about real results that comes out of methodical work towards the project, the goal that you have. Patience, intelligence, wisdom. And it advises you not to be able to cut out and away whatever is needed for the business to succeed. It talks about logic and rationality over emotions. It says, I hear in my head, you cannot be good to everyone. You cannot please everyone. Regardless of whichever way you're going to take, there's always someone that is not going to be happy. It doesn't matter which way you will take, there's always that one person, situation, or something that is not going to be happy. It is impossible to please every single person or situation on earth, if that makes any sense. I don't know where that came from, but that is exactly what went through my mind for a moment. And now in the position of the most possible outcome, we have Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles talks about juggling, balance, resources, time management. So that tells me that there will be a lot of juggling of your resources, of your time. It's like wearing many hats at the same time, trying not to drop any balls. Talks about uncertain times concerning your money and career, but those times are temporary. Those rocky waters are behind you. You're juggling. You haven't dropped those balls. You're juggling. It's not easy, but you haven't dropped them. The rocky water is behind. You're juggling. A lot of juggling, but you haven't dropped them, hon. Trust in your ability. Be responsible. It's not time to splurge. It's not time to be responsible with your money. Balance your finances, work and play. Talks about learning something new. Talks about choices needing to be made. But it also shows that the worst is behind you. Rocky waters are behind you. You just need to keep on juggling and balancing your time, your finances, and about being responsible, being adaptable, resourceful. It tells me that those uncertain times are temporary. It's not going to stay like that forever. You are in the position to use the change that is coming towards your own advantage. If that makes sense. Okay? And now for the final advice from the Love Oracle card. Final advice card for Sandra. Let us see what we need to see. Final advice. Just one card. See that? It says there was not enough of attraction to keep the relationship going. So it talks about someone turned their heads, someone decided not to put effort in, someone's actions built resentment in the relationship. And there was thoughts about not working towards the better tomorrow together, like it would be an unrequited love. There's little angels looking at that couple. Which talks about the grass is the greenest. The grass is the greenest where we water it. That is the thought that came to my head. Grass is the greenest where we water it. That's all what I have for you, honey. Hope this message helps. I wish you peace, love, and happiness. Love and light to you. Bye.